My name is Robby Asbery. Hi, I'm the Director of Partnerships for Coretrex. What we do is we're down in Arkansas, and we basically grow businesses. We do that primarily on e-commerce marketplaces, so your Targets and Home Depots, Lowe's, Amazon's, Walmart's, Best Buy, all the other places. And we cross-consult in retail. So we'll walk into line reviews and merchant talks and that sort of stuff. All of my team leads are trained to go speak merchant off of the e-commerce data that we use because that's increasingly a merchant focus. The way that I know that is because all my education's in ministry and that sort of stuff. But before this role, I was over at Walmart for 7 years doing a lot of marketing things and that sort of stuff. If any of you know about Walmart Scintilla or Luminate, that analytics platform, I was in marketing and competitive intel behind that platform. So dealing a lot with the case studies. So if there was something great that Red Bull did or something great that Kraft Heinz did, they would send that data to me. I would kind of dig through all of their weeds and ask them a lot of questions, put that story together, and kick it back out. And I did a lot of our executive readouts and analytics and that sort of stuff too. So data is kind of a hobby horse for me, but my teams behind me at Coretrex do a really, really good job executing. So what I've got for you today is kind of 5 pithy things that are just really, really important to remember for Amazon and Walmart. So if you can remember 5 rules, and you're all sitting in this room, you've launched businesses successfully, so this might sound a little bit pedantic. I promise it's not, and there's a lot more to dig through in any one of these as you have questions. We'll hit all 5 of these. Rule number 1 is make incredible product, drive engagement, ads are fuel, never stock out, and stay patient. And there's nothing further than that. We'll just dig right into it. So first up, I've pre-scouted all of you in this call. You've actually got good productized stuff. Like your packaging is solid. You've given some attention to how to get the thing on a pallet, to how the thing stores and ships and how you keep it from getting ruined. Obviously, you've got to deal with federal regulations and state regulations, all those sorts of things. But you would be surprised how many businesses come to Shopify, come to Squarespace, especially to Amazon, that have not thought about their product at all. They think they have a nice thing, it tastes good, or it's got some innovative feature for how sustainably it's sourced or whatever. And then they get very surprised when their business is not sustainable because they try to put the thing on a pallet and their pallet is ridiculously unoptimized. And so their cost of fulfillment is destroyed. And no matter how good their product is, their cost of goods is insane. None of you have that problem, but I wanted to take a little bit of time on this one slide because the way that you don't die in a marketplace is that you have to product iterate. You're a little insulated because you're in CPG, but it's always a ticking time bomb. When you get a product to market in broad scale, even over in Shopify, you will get knocked off. If you're a primary innovator in the category will balloon, other people will show up for sales. And so the name of the game in e-commerce is that you have to product iterate, or you'll have a really nice initial sales curve and then you will peter out. It happens to everybody. That's why most brands in e-commerce aim for an exit. They want to get bought by a bigger brand. It's because if they can ride that peak and make someone really excited about their business before they trough out to their competition, then they can make a ton of revenue. That might be the plan for some of you in this room, or maybe you're trying to go the Walmart route, the Sprouts route, Whole Foods, get into those broader chains. And you can anchor those relationships off of an initial product or two, but you're going to have to iterate to keep customers excited, to keep merchants excited. So always keep an eye to really good, sustainable products, not just that it tastes good or that your flavors are great, which is the stuff that's really exciting and makes you passionate, but make sure your package design is excellent. Make sure you're communicating your brand values. Make sure the thing is scalable profitably. And especially if you're going to a broader market like Amazon or Walmart, where they destroy you with net margin stuff, make sure that you've got enough margin baked into the product that you can actually sustainably grow the business. So big fundamentals there. Now, next one, drive engagement. When it comes to e-commerce, content is almost everything. It's super important. And here's why. It's a catalyst. When it comes to ad revenue, you spend $1, you're going to make X amount. The only way that you can multiply that is one of 2 ways. You can hit a better audience, or you can have better content. Content's tremendously important because it directly controls that multiple of how engaging people will find you and how much you can grow from there. So here's an example. This is Farmer Brothers. Farmer Brothers actually sells several tens of thousands of dollars per month on this product. It is ridiculously unoptimized. The image sucks. The title is not great. The bullet points, not wonderful. They're not using any of the imagery they could, but they still sell a lot of product. That said, 40,000 bucks a month for them, if they applied any level of effort or had any like base agency come in and touch this stuff, that 40,000 would go up to like 45, 50, 55, 60, probably within the course of the next 6 months. The organic attention is all there for their product, but they're squeezing all of the potential out of their business, because if you got 100 shoppers looking at that page, 3 could convert. If their content was better, that could be 5 or 6, which just puts a massive multiplier on the business. Better than this would be these guys over here at Righteous Felon. They do a great job with their content. You can see, I know this is a little bit small on the screen. They're using all their imagery. You can have up to 9 images on the Amazon side. Similar on Walmart, you can have a little bit more. Down what we call below the fold at the bottom of the page, they've got big full page imagery. My screenshotted my mouse hovering over a piece of that image. Anything you can do, especially on Amazon, to use the natural tools they have and make the images interactive, make it so that you can swipe left, swipe right, that you can hover over little things that pop up extra information. All of that translates to time spent on the page. And if someone is looking for your product, if they're looking for grains, if they're looking for cheese, if they're looking for a bit of cob, anything like that, the more time you can soak up in their visit, the better, because then they can't use it to shop at someone else because they've only got so long to sit on the couch. So soaking up customer time will always increase conversion rates somehow, and then you can turn that into a whole bunch of other revenue. Exception to this, Coca-Cola, Sargento, Kraft, all those big guys, they never pay enough attention to their content. You would wonder why their sales are so strong on Amazon or Walmart if they don't pay attention to their content. It's because their content's so strong elsewhere. They're a cultural phenomenon. They don't have to worry about content on page because they have content in customers' brains from them knowing about them since they were 5. So you will not live at this point unless several years from now you're a unicorn and you got huge. So always pay attention to the content up front, and don't look at the best in class and just think like, I don't have to beat Coca-Cola. I'll just stay at their level. No. Beat Coca-Cola. That's the only way you steal customers from them. So next up, ads are fuel. This is probably the most slides. I'm going to try and go through these quickly, but this is the #1 misconception that I get in all of the different calls that I'm in. I have spoken to hundreds of brands and a lot of CEOs, and the amount of times that I hear the statement, I want to grow, but how little can I spend on ads? That's what I get. And I'm going to try to unpack for you why agencies focus on it so much. So ads are fuel. A marketplace platform has to make money. I don't know if you know this about Amazon, but they don't make the vast majority of their net profits off the marketplace. I used to be in Walmart Competitive Intel. I know Amazon has a massive marketplace that they lose money on, a lot of money every year. If you look at their net profits, you'll see Amazon boast about how big their marketplace revenue is, and it made $260 billion, and it's wonderful. The amount of money they actually made on that $260 billion is like this much. It's barely anything. What they make money on is the advertising that they drive off of the marketplace. That's why ads are so expensive. What they make money on is charging you to do coupon discounts or to retarget their customers. And what else they make money on is Amazon Web Services, which is a huge portion of their revenue. So image hosting, the backbone to your Shopify site, which is run off of Amazon servers, that's a really, really big moneymaker for them. So if Amazon can't make money on you, they don't care about you. The way they make money on you is you advertising. Same with Walmart, the way they're setting up their marketplace. So if you don't play the ad game, they are not incentivized to increase your traffic or drive people to you. So it is pay to play. That's very frustrating about a marketplace. But what you're paying for is access to the biggest shop windows on the internet, because 40% of e-commerce market share belongs to Amazon in the US as of 2024. Over 50% of e-commerce purchase journeys start on Amazon before they start on Google, before they start on any other platform. customers open an Amazon app or they just go to the Amazon webpage. That's where people look, which is why you get charged a premium for it. So if you want to grow a brand and spend zero in ads, it will probably look like this. There's 3 lines. The blue one is the sales of your product over a 12-month period. The yellow one is how much money you actually made. The red one is how much you're in the negative every month on what you're paying. So let's assume you're paying $2,000 in labor. You got to have an analyst or an intern or someone pay attention to that platform so it doesn't break. You're out in labor cost every month. You launch your product, you got a good price point, you got a great seller, and so you start to make some sales. But the problem is those sales don't take off really, really quickly, because in any marketplace, it takes months for the algorithm to even understand what you are and what to do with you. And all of that is driven off of customer traffic and sales. That's how algorithms work. There are a couple other factors in there too. But if you try to grow a brand on $0 in ads, what will happen is you will give up on it unless you're very stubborn within the first year, because you're going to look at the labor that you put into the channel and the cost of your product and the fulfillment structure, and you're going to say, I am making no net margin whatsoever. And you're right. You are absolutely correct. Because if you don't pay to play, you don't grow fast enough to outrun your margin structure. If you run that way, you're going to lose a lot of money over the course of 12 months, and you're going to get really, really frustrated. Now, let's assume you spend $3,000 a month in ads. This is a little bit of a unicorn chart. This is how agencies try to win you all the time. But if you go down in your cost structure by about $5,000 each month, $2,000 in labor plus $3,000 in ads, what's going to happen is you're not going to be profitable for the first quarter, probably the first 4 months. And then you're going to have won enough attention from customers that you actually start to make a net profit. And that sounds idealistic. Here's how it actually works. So skipping over big pie in the sky profit numbers, this is an actual coffee brand that has partnered with Coretrex for years. We still serve these guys and they're great. They started in 2021, moving $20,000 in coffee beans out of the back of their store. And what they did was they told us, turn all of our profits back into ads. We don't need to draw money off of it. We've got a coffee shop, we're fine. And go grow the thing and we'll front the product. And that's what we did. We went really aggressive on ad structures. Their net margin for year 1 almost did not exist, but they started to move a lot of product. And something really important for you all in CPG is subscriptions. We aimed the ads toward getting subscription customers, people that would reorder constantly and forget to turn the order off. Really, really good for net margin. And so over about 24 months, they finally hit 1% in the coffee category, and they decided to cap their growth so they could draw cash and use it elsewhere in the business. They wanted to do a store footprint. What that looked like from the ads side was this. So this is tacos. This is how much of their gross revenues they were spending on ads. At the beginning, they were losing money every month for almost 12 months because a ridiculous amount of their gross profits were going into that ad structure. But it forced Amazon to notice them, and it let customers know they were there. Then the subscriptions turned on, the organic traffic kicked in, and so they finally started to make a lot of money out of it. That's the name of the game in marketplaces, and only increasingly so for reasons I won't explain, but Amazon has made it much more this way. So that's why we come to rule 4. Never stock out, period, ever. It's the worst thing ever to do to your brand on a marketplace. You can do it on your Shopify platform. You can do it in your store. Do not do it on a marketplace. It will ruin your business. Very, very hard. And this is a brand we partner with over in apparel. This is women's apparel, boots and pants and sporting goods and that sort of stuff. Really great year-over-year growth. We got them up like $1.5 million over the course of the year, over the last 12 months. Excellent stuff. They started to stock out in November. We started to annoy them about it in October. They did not listen to us. And this is what has happened. They lost a lot of the growth that they were gaining because they stocked out. The problem on a marketplace platform is when you stock out, you lose all of the customer attention and all of the weight that the algorithm had built around your brand. And it ruins you. And it takes like 6 months plus to recover. So for those of you that are already on Amazon and you're scaling, I can see there's several of you that are doing $20,000, $30,000 a month and you're trying to go up. Do not make the mistake of trying to go to retail, do Shopify, do Amazon, and do all of that sort of stuff to your fulfillment structure at the same time. Pick a channel, always fulfill it, grow it to the point that it's profitable, And then once you've got room for inventory overage by cash flow and by your manufacturing facility, then hit the new platform. But avoid a stock out at all costs. It will ruin you. Last, stay patient. Stay really patient. E-commerce, like people want rapid growth, but at the end of the day, you're going to be up and down. Sometimes you'll put out a really great ad structure. You'll think it's going to be amazing. And you'll go into May and one of your chief competitors will outspend you, or they will eat your lunch on a coupon strategy or something like that. If you're not patient, if you don't plan for the long term, you're going to see this happen to your sales, and you're going to see it get spiky and trophy and do all those sorts of things. And you won't be able to stick with the business. Like, know that you're going to be making a 12-month investment minimum, probably 24, and that profitability is going to come somewhere in Q3 or Q4 of year one. Allocate the labor to it, be prepared to spend on the ads, be prepared to go cash negative, and then don't freak out in month two when you don't have the sales that you want and you're getting screamed at about net return from everyone else on your team. It takes time. And that's Walmart, that's Amazon, that's Target, that's literally anyone else that's pure e-commerce, unless you're already in the store and you can just divert sales to the .com platform. The exception to this would be if you've got a really strong Instagram or TikTok following and you can force organic traffic into the marketplace, good for you. But if you're just growing on the marketplace, expect the ups and downs. It will level out over time. And that's not me just speaking agency talk. That's how you run a good business on e-commerce. You have to be prepared for the fluctuation. So with that, thank you. I realized that was, just under 20 minutes. So I don't know how much questions time we have, but go for it.
I have a question, and then if anyone else has, really quickly, when we talk about a lot of the brands here have amazing stories.
Yep.
Telling stories in social and short form video makes sense. On Amazon or Walmart, etc., where you have those video options and you have other storytelling or even the streaming on Amazon, has that taken off? Is that something worth the effort to do?
Yes. Yeah, it's tremendously important actually. So user-generated content, your natural Instagram stuff or any videos that you're posting, TikTok stuff, you can put that natively on an Amazon page, not a Walmart page. It's great for conversion. Likewise, some of the strongest content you can put on a page is like user shots or lifestyle imagery, that sort of thing of the product actually being used. And again, back to the other point that content is just everything. What that means in percentages is that you take a product that only converts 3 out of every 100 customers. If you deploy all of your social imagery, if you deploy lifestyle photography, if you make sure that your marketing copy is clean and that there's a carousel they can click through, that sort of stuff, that can take your 3% and make it more like 5% or 5.5%. So out of those 100 customers, you start to win several more. And it's critical for CPG because in food goods, you really want to get that natural conversion rate up to around 10% or north. That's really, really good because by the time that your organic content is that strong, you'll have enough data just from the traffic that you can target your ads really, really closely. So the pie in the sky ROAS campaigns where you spend $1 and you make 10 or you make 14, those aren't possible without good content. If your content is bad, you will be doing everything you can and you won't rise above like a 1-to-6 or a 1-to-7 ratio. The content is what really gets that past the next point.
Thank you. I'll quickly level setting ROAS, return on ad spend, tacos, total advertising. What is
Cost
it?
of sales.
Cost of sales, yeah. Anything? Okay. Any other questions? Any other things? We do have a client, as you're thinking, I'm kind of stalling. You guys probably may think of some questions. We have a client that changed their fulfillment strategy and they ended up not creating the inventory in that category, that SKU listing in time. And I think Amazon took down their listings. Can you talk a little bit about Amazon's listing takedowns, their power, their lack of responsiveness, and all the issues?
Yeah. So Amazon's they're getting a little bit better about this. There are a couple tools that you have. So if you get delisted for fulfillment or for misleading product copy or something like that, you're going to get tossed out to like an AI and some guy in Pakistan and then someone else in the Philippines and then someone else over in Germany. Like their teams are global, they're very outsourced. So what you're going to get is a super transactional response that says you were delisted for X reason. Show us that you're fixing it. Your reply needs to include exactly what they asked for. Don't try to hem and haw and do abstract reasoning with them. Give them exactly what they asked for and let them know what you have done to fix it. So if you stocked out, it screwed up your fulfillment structure, your product got delisted, say, I have changed my provider. My new provider will be able to fulfill blah, 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 blah. This will keep us from doing that again. And like you have taken the slap on the hand and they will work with you. The only way that you can get to like argumentation and actually going back and forth over logic is if you have a first party account. So you're on Amazon vendor, then you have an account manager who's actually going to reason with you and liaise on your behalf. Or if you have an agency, if you have an agency like Coretrex, the biggest one in the industry is Pattern. They're massive. If you look across at anyone worth their salt, they're going to have an agency contact because they have to be registered with Amazon or they're not allowed to be an agency. And so we've got points of escalation and can get people on the phone because we've been doing this for years and we'll go argue.
Yeah. Thank you. And the responsiveness can be what we're experiencing. I mean,
Yeah.
they can take a long time.
Yeah, a week to 3 weeks to 6. Like that's the thing. If you're going to treat Amazon as your primary revenue platform, get an agency partner. Just do it. Like figure out the cost structure, figure out how to do it because you need someone to argue on your behalf.
Yeah.
If you're going to treat Amazon as a secondary pillar, so like your Shopify is huge, or you get I don't know, a Whole Foods agreement or a Kroger agreement or whatever, and Amazon's something that you're standing up, just understand, again, back to the patience, that Amazon will be screwy, they will mess with you, and so your timelines might get thrown out. So just bake in the margin of error.
Okay, thank you.